Welcome to the Speaking Light into Abortion podcast, where I talk about all the reasons it's possible for you to thrive after your abortion. I'm your host, Amanda Kingsley, and 2 years after my own abortion, I certified as a life coach, so I could serve women after abortion in all the ways they've been deserving and lacking for centuries. Consider this your launchpad for finding strength and community in yourselves and in each other.
Alrighty. Welcome, Leah. I'm gonna read to you. Isn't this fun? It's like being back in elementary school. Like I get to read to you and then we talk about it.
Hey, I don't have to read. This is great.
I know, right? It's like I gotta get really good at reading.
Good end of this one.
All right. So here are my thoughts today. Today we're going to talk about why self-confidence after abortion matters. So self-confidence, as defined by the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is confidence in oneself and in one's powers and abilities. Of course, we could look up a million different definitions, but we'll go with Merriam today. Brooke Castillo, who Leah and I both know, adds, it's your ability to trust yourself, knowing that you can experience any emotion. She goes deeper to explain that it's knowing you will do what you have said you will do. You will follow through on your plan. You will take care of yourself. So what does this mean after abortion? When we make the decision to end the pregnancy, we have to have confidence. Mostly we have to have confidence in our providers, but also in our reason for aborting. Whether we like it or not, whether we like our reason that is or not, perhaps it's a medical reason or a lifestyle reason, we have to have confidence that it's the right decision at the time. This gives us the courage to say yes to the procedure, and the confidence is the main player in our action taking. After abortion, our need for self-confidence is much higher. That's when we have to go back to our lives and function like human beings again, facing the landscape of thoughts and feelings in our body, hormonal fluctuations, and the reality of the social political climate around abortion. It's far too easy for us to slip into feelings of regret or shame or experiences of depression or anxiety. Self-confidence gives us access to get the help we need either directly from our inner strength or from our capability to reach out and access external support. Self-confidence keeps reminding us of what we knew to be true when we said yes to abortion. It connects us back with the life we made our choice for. Maintaining connection to this vision of what we planned for takes an unwavering ability to take care of ourselves and the courage to follow through on our plans, even when our external circumstances, like hormones and other people's opinions, appear to get in the way. Self-confidence allows us to feel all the feelings and remember that they can't hurt us. Feelings are just vibrations in the body, and self-confidence reminds us that the feelings alone cause no harm. It's the actions or reactions we take while feeling our feelings that can cause us harm. It's not our fault that we don't know how to be self-confident. There's a good chance that no one ever taught us. Our brains are so cluttered by judging ourselves and looking for what's wrong that we don't have room to think good thoughts about ourselves or look for what's right. I know you know this in your field. Back to the reading. So lack of self-confidence after abortion might look like believing you or your body somehow failed, believing you're alone or different than other women after abortion, telling yourself you will never heal or that you're now broken, feeling rejected by those people around you, believing that other people's opinions influence you, feeling like a victim, believing fear is in your way, Learning to reprogram your brain to think self-confident thoughts takes time and practice. Most of us spend a lifetime believing things about ourselves that aren't true, and the brain patterns are deep. We think self-sabotaging thoughts as easily as we breathe, and we look for evidence that they are true. Anti-abortion media and social programming is often a trigger, but we can stop the sabotage. We can choose self-confidence and think about abortion in a whole new light. We can think thoughts like, what others think about me is really about them. What I make it mean is how I live into my future. I am capable of making powerful decisions. I have my own back. What I'm feeling is just a feeling. And my personal favorite, I actually wrote this on my daughter's bedroom wall, is I can do hard things. So retraining your brain takes practice and support, but it's worth it because women who are confident in their decisions and in themselves tune into the life they had their abortion for. They discover and go after their dreams. They aren't afraid of failure. They model strength and confidence for their loved ones, and they inspire others to do the same. If you've had an abortion and find yourself thinking about it in less than confident ways, I encourage you to imagine confidence on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being totally confident in yourself and your choices. Notice where you are on the scale. Where do you want to be? What are you willing to do to get there? The end.
That was so fantastic.
So tell me, let's talk about self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because let me tell the listeners that you are a fellow, and we did say that at the beginning of the recording. But I used the abbreviation LCS, and I was like, I wonder if people don't know what that means. So Leah and I both certified as life coaches with the Life Coach School. So I know that you have thoughts about self-confidence. Let's talk about them.
Especially as women, and it's kind of one of those amazing things because women are so strong. We do so much and we can do so much. But for some reason, most women that I know lack self-confidence, which is kind of amazing because women are so strong and can do so much. And just look at the lives we lead. We're doing this and taking care of that. And we're multitaskers and we do all of this all of the time. Yet we don't realize our own power, our own self-worth, our own everything. And I don't know where it actually comes from. I don't know if it's now a social media thing or, just a norm.
Yeah, but think about like you and I, like we're similar ages, right? There was no social media when we were teenagers. We have plenty of lack of self-confidence.
I know. So where did it come from? Was it
self-sabotage?
Was it magazines? Was it television? Or is it just something that's passed down to all of us?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all of those things. And I think it's really important to look at that piece about passed down to us. Because I know that after my abortion, I remember lying in bed and just crying and thinking, why am I so sad? Like, I'm not even sad, but I can't stop crying. There's so much grief. And I remember asking, like, being self-aware enough to say, like, whose is this? And the answer was very clearly, it's not mine. Like, yes, I was sad. It was a really hard experience for me, but like the weight of generations of like just sadness and grief and like disempowerment was part of my experience. And so like we've had generations and generations of media, if not social media, right? Like now it's social media. But before it was media, and before that it was something else. And so like self-confidence goes way back. Like goes back even beyond our lifetimes. And we feel it. Like, so I don't know, part of me is like, it doesn't really matter where it came from.
Mhm.
We just got to do something about it.
Right. It's what can we do now moving forward,
And
right?
then it's also curious to just be like, where did this come from? Because it can, like, I know that question was just a big relief to me. Like, it cleared up some of the confusion. Like, I felt so confused about why I was sad.
Mhm.
And then when I got the answer, like, this isn't all yours. Like, this is generations deep. This is like the weight of women in the world.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that helps clear up some confusion.
Right. And see how interesting that is? Oh, see right where you went again? It's like, this is the weight of the world. This is all the women. Like women, we take everything on.
Right.
Like everything is, we need to take care of it. We're responsible for it. And we just have this giant weight through anything that we do is going to affect somebody else or another thing or another woman or another something. Everything that we do is just so powerful, right? Which is so interesting. We have all of this power that we can affect all of this stuff, yet we don't have any self-confidence in it,
I know.
which is just like, isn't
I
that
mean,
amazing?
you got to see it so much with your clients. Like so Leah works with women in like busy moms in
Mhm.
weight loss. And like, and I have not done this research or really worked with the population of women, but I know that weight gain is a problem after
Mhm.
abortion.
Oh,
Like,
right.
I know it is. Like,
Right.
you're literally carrying the weight.
Right. Right.
So
And
you
there's
have
so many
to do
different
that.
reasons. Oh, right. Because weight gain is not about food.
Right?
This is like
But there's so much delicious food out there.
right? But there's a whole reason behind it. It's like, why are we turning to the food? Because our brains are just so overwhelmed with everything else. Let me just eat and just like, let me just shut it off for a little while.
Yeah.
So women, as they're going through stressful times, shameful times, hard times, busy times, whatever it is, whatever the circumstance came from, whatever is underlining anything, food is there.
Yeah.
So we turn to it because for that split moment, it gives us something to do. We feel better. Our brain shuts off for a second with everything that's, filling and circling in there. But then what happens though, we have this cycle. And it happens to women that are overweight, women that are experiencing things. We eat, we feel good for a second, but now we have something else to feel bad about. Now we've done this to our bodies, and what is wrong with me? And we go into the, I am broken, I am weak, I am this, and it further brings them down the cycle and just hits the self-confidence down further. And it's just like this cycle that goes and goes and goes. So it's so much more beyond working out and food. Honestly, like I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. It's like, that's like such a little piece of it. It's what's going on with your life. How do you feel? What's going on with your thoughts? What's going on with your brain? What's going on around you? All of that is so much more to do with it. So much more.
Yeah.
So in this case, here's this woman who has just gone through, and everything that you touched on, she has all of these hormonal issues going on with her body.
Yeah.
She has all of these thoughts, all of this stuff that it's being pressed on her.
Yeah.
That
I actually I just messaged with a woman who had an abortion at 6 weeks. That's so early.
Mhm.
Like, you barely know you're pregnant at 6.
Yeah.
Like, that's like when you first find out.
Right. Yeah.
And she said, like, even at 6 weeks, I had weight gain and I haven't lost it since. And I think it was like a year or two.
Yeah.
That she was messaging me later. And it's like, yeah, there was a hormonal component to that. And like, I think we just don't even know all the layers, right? Like, there's this hormonal fluctuation, and then we're having such an emotional experience with it that we almost like lock ourselves into the hormonal imbalance, right? It's like we make this mind-body connection between the grief and the hormones. And then every time we think about the grief, like, we trigger that hormone system to get wacky again. Like, it's so complicated. It's so, and like, I come from a history of some studying of Chinese medicine and the 5 elements. And like, I know grief is connected to the large intestine. So it's like, and anxiety is connected to the stomach. So like, it's literally like the feelings we're feeling in our abortion experiences are literally affecting our bodies.
Absolutely.
And if we don't process those, and this is where it goes to this self-confidence of like, I'm willing to feel the feelings.
Right.
So that I can release that in my body.
And something that you touched upon when you read that was really important and stuck out to me is you were talking about having the self-confidence to seek support, to seek help. And that's huge. Huge.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women I know that I work with, it's that we don't want to reach out for help. Yeah. We don't want to ask for help. And with women that you work with as well, not only are they women and they don't want to reach out for help and all of that, they have this whole, fear of this stigma on them.
Yeah.
And the whole
and the guilt and then like
political, and it's like they can't speak about it, or and that brings on just like this whole other layer of, where do I reach out for help? How do I reach out for help? Where do I turn without people coming at me? So it's this another, and that to me it felt really powerful, because I thought it's so hard for women to seek help anyway, never mind all of this other added extra just stuff on top of them. What are people going to say to them? What, are people going to be helpful? Are they going to be more hurtful? Is it going to be worse to reach out? And that just, again,
it's crazy. And mental health in our culture is so down the tubes. Like the saddest story to me, like, how do you even identify? But like one of the saddest stories to me is when I hear women say, I reached out for help and it made it worse.
Yes, right.
I'm like, oh,
right. I know.
We don't know how to do mental health very well. And so the chances of reaching out for help and getting quote, bad help,
right,
actually pretty good. It's just like a pretty good chance you're not going to get good help. And that is so sad. And then it just, like you were saying earlier about the cycles and like perpetuating the cycles, then those cycles get worse and worse and worse. Like, I'm better off just suffering on my own.
Right?
Yeah. That pain than like having somebody make it worse for me.
And then
it takes so much confidence, self-confidence to ask for help.
And reaching out, I think I see this a lot with people that I work with on weight loss. They'll reach out to a trainer or a program or something, and these people have background of, I went to this and I studied this and I studied that, but they've never really been in the shoes of the person.
Yeah.
And what I find is other trainers will say, well, I gave them, this program, why can't they just follow it? Or they just don't want it bad enough, or they don't this, or they don't that, because they don't truly understand what it feels like to be in the shoes of the person.
Yeah.
And I find that when somebody can connect on a level where I've been in your shoes, and not everybody's the same, obviously, but here we go. I understand where you're coming from. Let me help you with this, or let me help you with that, rather than just throw all this kind of like jargon at them. Do this, do that, that I found very comforting now with the day and age that we're in. This is like the one thing of social media that I like, that you can go out and you can actually find people that I've been in a similar situation. I understand. Let me help you. And I feel like that's such a comforting thing when people reach out and say, I know that you're hurting. Let me help you. I want to help you. I want to be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all walks of life, no matter what it is. It's so amazing when people can just put everything aside and just reach out a hand and say, I'm here to help you. Let me help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the biggest problems I see after abortion in terms of community and support is that I remember I studied women's health, and I had a history of like in pregnancy and birth and postpartum, and like my good friends were midwives and OBs, and I had an abortion and everyone was like, we love you, but there's nowhere to turn. Like, I was like, what do you mean? Where are all the support groups? Where are all the people? Like, who's gonna help me? And they were like, yeah, it doesn't really exist. I'm like, what? This is so messed up.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I wonder if with weight loss, It's tricky because there's so much out there about weight loss.
Yeah.
But if you're missing that element of like, what's the problem under the problem,
Right.
you're going after the weight loss without like tackling the initial issue.
Right.
So social media I'm like the queen of social media. I love social media.
And I'm so reverse. I'm like, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want it. I don't.
Yeah. So I do love it, but I also can see it's so far.
Like, I think that's where mine comes from, is because I look at it out there and I see all of these pictures of like these Instagram models or these workout people, and they're doing all this, fitness stuff. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if somebody sees this and tries it, they're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Or I see all these, things out there that, and, in the back of my mind, I'm like, if somebody does this, they're going to get hurt. And that's where I get nervous.
Yeah.
Where instead of me, right, here it goes all back to self-confidence.
Yeah.
If I was confident enough, instead of me saying, no social media, if I was confident enough to get in there and be like, wait a minute, stop listening to all these things that can hurt you and let me be vocal and let me help you.
Yeah.
But if we go right around, and the reason I don't do that is because I'm not, an Instagram model with a six-pack.
Yeah, you're working on your own self-confidence.
Right. I'm a mom of 4 who finally figured out how to stop dieting and doing horrible things to her body and actually be healthy.
Yeah.
And I shy away from it, but it goes back to self-confidence once again. All of it does.
I think comparison is another thing that comes up in both of our audiences. And like, I know for me, so 1 in 4 women have abortions, at least one abortion by the time they're 40, like, or 45 or something. I don't know what the numbers are. That's so many women.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm so happy that you had said that, because I have never heard that. Like, I don't know the statistics on that. And when you had said that, I work with hundreds of women. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like,
statistically 1 in 4 of them.
How many women I worked with, right?
So for us, like for my clientele, comparison, if you know that statistic and you're looking at all the women right? Like, I think I have like 3,000 Facebook friends, right? So if I look at all those women, because probably 2,800 of them are women, right? But, and then I'm looking and I'm going like, if no one's talking about their abortion, I must be the only one struggling, right? Like, I remember that time too, where I'm like, I know the statistic and I'm looking at all the women who seemingly are fine because they're not talking about it. And I'm like, I must be the only one suffering. I'm not in that place anymore, but I was. And I remember just being like, am I the only one that needs to talk about this? Am I the only one who wants to heal, who wants to become stronger because of it? Like, who wants to pat myself on the back for making this really hard choice? Like, and so again, like, comparison in weight loss, I mean, holy moly, like, that is like.
Yeah, it's reverse, but it's funny. It works in a reverse way because there's so many people out there that are overweight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is normal.
Right.
Oh, this is normal. So it does the reverse thing. It's here we have all of these women struggling at the same time.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, but hey, I'm a mom of 4 and this is what we look like. Or, hey, I don't really have time to take care of myself because I'm busy right now, or I don't really have time. And all of my friends are heavy. And you know what? I'm 40. This is 40. This is my body now.
Right.
So it works in reverse. All of these women are struggling silently. They can see it, yet they're still not talking about it.
Oh, that's so interesting. And for some of those women, like, they are happy at 200 pounds with 4 kids, but I think a lot of them are not.
Right.
So then it's like, why am I not happy? If this is the normal, why am I not happy?
Right.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. So, and I think both of it all goes back to, I mean, wherever we got it from, women we hold things in.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you look at the statistics of women, when they die of heart attacks,
Mm-hmm.
they die in bed, heart attacks and stroke, because they're like, oh, I don't want to bother anybody. Let me just lay down.
Mm.
And they're dying like in bed
Oh, wow.
because they don't reach out for help, which is so interesting because think of it. Now, if one of your friends or anybody came to you and said, can you help me? You'd be like, absolutely. I'm right here. How can I help you? What can I do? So as women, we reach out and we help, yet we don't reach out and say, can you help me?
Right. We have so much pride around that. Like, I should be able to help myself.
Right. Or I don't want to bother anybody else.
Also,
Let me take care of this on my own.
Yeah. And if this is so normal, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I need help? If other people don't need help.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole nother thing, right? We could go like, what is wrong with me? Why do we make it mean something is wrong with us?
Yeah.
But we do. If we struggle, it's like, oh, something's wrong with me. I'm struggling. Something's wrong with me.
I find that with abortion, people feel feelings like I never felt deep regret, but I had moments where I was like, wait a second, what if I did have a fourth kid right now? Like, and then I'd imagine that kid and be like, did I make the right decision? So I never really would call it full-blown regret, but I know that a lot of people do. So you have regret or you have guilt or I had a lot of shame that I got pregnant in the first place. Like I had an IUD that fell out and I didn't know it fell out. And so I had so much shame. Like, how could I not know that? And so then like those feelings, then you feel bad about feeling the shame and you feel bad about feeling the regret and you feel bad about feeling, it's like just all these layers of nonsense.
Yeah, women are
crazy.
So judgmental and mean
to ourselves the most.
Would you ever say that? Like if I came to you and I was like, this is the situation that happened, can you believe it? Would you ever be like, what is wrong with you? How did you not know that? What do you
know?
You would never say that to me. Yet look at what we put ourselves through.
I know.
So interesting what we put ourselves through. But we're mean to ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I say to like clients of my own. They just say awful things to themselves. I ate this, or what's wrong with me, or I'm such a pig, or I have no willpower, or I'm disgusting. And I'm like, wait. I'm like, put your best friend in front of you right now. Would you ever say that to her? And they're like appalled. They're like, I would never say that. Why did you just say that to yourself?
Yeah.
And they don't even know it. Like we've talked to
those of us who are mothers to girls or teens or women. Right. But to have the self-confidence to feel the shame, to feel the guilt, to feel the regrets, right? Just like, and then be like, oh, this is just a feeling. And if I allow it, it's going to pass. And then I get to be the person who had the experience and like survived through it, right? Like I rocked that shame. I just felt it and I didn't resist it and I didn't judge myself and I didn't, right? Like so powerful.
And right there, exactly what you just said, isn't that just such a powerful thought? I survived that.
Yeah, I know.
That takes it like to a whole different level. And it really does. I survived that. Just looking at it like that.
Like I'm here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's been a good conversation.
No, I could talk to you forever.
Did you write down anything else in your notes that you're going to be like, oh, I wish I had said that?
Probably, because I just wrote.
I know, I saw you.
Notes. I was like, oh my gosh. Just because everything that you talked about, I mean, you can really put any circumstance in there.
Well,
you know what I mean? This pertains to every woman. Doesn't matter, abortion, not, it doesn't matter. Like everything, if you sub the word abortion in there for anything that we've experienced.
Yeah.
All of this pertains to every woman out there.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, I tell my clients, I told a client this morning, like abortion is just the thing that helped you pick me, right? But like we could have done this work on your relationship with your parents or your, a past chronic illness or your divorce or like, it doesn't matter. Like abortion is your opportunity to do the healing work. It's your invitation to feel the shame, to feel the relief, to choose what you want. And the same, I mean, it's just like you said, it applies to everybody, because the same goes for your clients, right? It's like, weight is just your opportunity to look at those self-limiting beliefs. It's your opportunity to feel the feelings you've been eating, or to, choose self-love and acceptance, no matter what the number on the scale is.
Absolutely.
So it is all of these things that we're stepping into the world with. It's all the same message.
It is.
Just like pick your thing and go in.
Yeah. I mean, I thought how you talked about the feelings being vibrations. That is so important, because throughout the day, everything that we do, everything that we go into, we experience today, tomorrow, the next day, the rest of our lives, these tools are so beneficial to everybody.
Right.
Through everything. So once, when they're working with you through this journey of their life, whether they're working through me through that journey of their life, once they have these tools, the growth in every other area of their life is just huge. And that's the power.
In another client, I was talking to her about, like, once you feel that anger and you realize that it doesn't have, it's not controlling you. It's just there to feel. And you can do this work around abortion, but once you feel that anger, if you get fired by, if you get fired from your job, or somebody does something to your kid that you don't like, your brain body connection is like, I can feel anger and survive. Like that's the message you're teaching your body when you choose to allow yourself to feel it. So like, use in my case, like, use the abortion to feel the feelings, to build the confidence, to experience it in other parts of your life. Because if you're not afraid of the anger, and you're not afraid of the anxiety, and you're not afraid of the shame or the guilt or all the things, like, imagine what you can create in the world. Damn. So good.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
And you have a podcast bouncing around in your brain, don't you? So someday maybe we'll go back to this episode and link to your future someday podcast.
That would be so fantastic. I would love that.
People can find you on a website, or?
Yes, it's actually it's just my name. It's leahgaspar.com.
Nice. Beautiful. Well, I know that many people in this audience do struggle with weight. And again, whether abortion is the reason you struggle with weight or something else, like, doesn't matter. Just get in there, figure it out. Whether you lose the weight or not, you'll do the work that matters, which is to feel good again.
Exactly. That's the thing that's so amazing. I get to work with people on weight loss, and at the end of their journey of working with me, they have tools for every piece of their life. And that's the real amazing thing.
Yeah. I remember I did a podcast episode once, and my co-host, she has definitely a heavier structure, and she's definitely not overweight, but like weight was a thing for her. And I remember I forget the work she was doing, but I think she was changing her diet and just like her lifestyle. And she was so proud of herself. She felt so amazing in her body. She'd put on her clothes and look at herself in the mirror and be like, I look good. And then she got on a scale and realized that she gained weight. She was like, doesn't matter. And I was like, that was like the best episode.
That's so fun. I know. That's the thing.
Awesome.
The confidence that they get because a lot of women that I work with, all other areas of their life, they're like, I got this work thing, I got this home thing, relationship, good, everything's good. But this weight, I can't get it. So just seeing them kind of, get through it and unravel it and be like, oh, wait a minute here. My thoughts, what? And seeing them understand it, I'm just like, oh, there you go. They're, talk about self-confidence and everything, right up.
So good. All right. We could talk forever. Oh, until the next podcast. If you want to be a guest, or Leah, if you know anyone who wants to be a guest, if you have any ideas for me, send them my way.
Definitely will.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks for listening, and as always, please consider sharing, rating, and reviewing this podcast as your contribution to the abortion-positive women's health movement. You can learn more about my coaching services and book a free call to get started at amandastarkingsley.com. Until we connect, I'll be rooting for you and believing in you and the amazing life that's possible after your abortion.